Okay, hello guys, and welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to talk about the rest of Unit 6, 6.5, dividing decimals. Dividing decimals. Let's take a look at the questions. We're going to talk about dividing decimals by whole number and solve problems by dividing decimals. Okay, let's see. First, let's take a look at some questions. Now, we talked about dividing before and long division, and we talked about how we use dividing solving problems. Okay. Now here, dividing decimals, here we have 74.8, 74.8. Okay, let me put this down. No one's better. Okay. Dividing 74.8 by 4. First thing we do, let's zoom in so we can understand the idea. First we, sorry, 7 divide 4, the closest one is 1, and then 1 times 4 is 4. Okay, like this. And then we subtract them, we leave 3. So 3 is here, like this. It's a long division. Now let's move this, make it a line, like this. And then the 4 will come down, like this. We can even take the point and the 2, the point and the 8, if you want. And then we take the 34. 34 divide 4. The closest one is 32. Let's cover this so we understand the idea. Take this here. So 34, the closest one is 32, in which it comes by multiplying by 8. So 8 times 4 is 32. We subtract, we leave 2 here, and then we put the point 8. Okay, like this. Now, 2.8, you don't need the decimal point. Take 28, divide by 4 is 7. 7 times 4 is 28. So we end up with two zeros. Now, to find the place of the decimal point, you just take 74, the whole number, and divide it by 4 by itself. So 74 divide 4, it will give you two numbers. So let's take 74, 74 alone, divided by 4, like this. Let's do it the same way they do it. That's how you find how many numbers you need for the decimal point. So like this, 74 divide 4. Okay. So the 7 divide 4 is going to be 1. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract them, you'll get 3. And then you put the 4 down. So 34. Now 34 divide 4 is going to be 8. 8 times 4 is 32. And when you subtract them, you get 2. And then 2 divide 4 is going to be half, so 0.5, like this. So basically, the 0.5, I don't need it. I just need the 18. The 18 are two numbers. It means the decimal point should be after two numbers. That's why we put 1, 2, we put the decimal point. And this is how you divide decimals on a whole number, okay? Dividing decimals on a whole number. Let's take a look at another question. You'll get the idea. Let's do this. Let's cover the ones here. So I'm gonna do a 58.4 divide 4. Do it here. So 58.4 divide 4. Let's do it like this. So first thing we do, 5 divide 4 is 1. Okay. 5 divide 4 is 1. And then 1 times 4 is 4. Now we subtract. So we subtract 5 minus 4 is going to be 1. And then we take the 8 down and the 4. Or just the 8. But it's okay to take them all down so you don't forget anything. Now, 18 divide 4, the closest one is 16. It comes by multiplying 4 by 4. So that's a 16. And then when you subtract, so 18 minus 16 is going to be 2. 2 here. And then we have a decimal point and 4. So basically, this is a 24. 24 divide 4 will equal, very good, will equal 6. 6 times 4 is going to be 24. And when you subtract them, they're going to be 0, like this. Sorry. So this means that you finished the whole question. Now, the second important part is putting the decimal point. So basically, when you divide 58 by 4, you'll end up with, not with calculator, طبعاً, 58. What's the closest to 58? Let's say 40 is not close. There's a number. Let's say, for example, 48. 48, and then you can go up 48. It comes by multiplying 12 by 4, and 12 are two numbers. It means the decimal point will come after two numbers, which is over here. And that's the whole idea of dividing decimals by a whole number. Now let's move on with the questions. Let's go down here. Focus on the steps of solving these problems. Same idea that we did now. Dividing decimals by a whole number, same idea. Dividing a number by a number, it will give you the same idea. It's and then round it to one decimal place. Let's try one of them. For example, let's try at 3/4. 3 divide 4. Okay, focus on this. These questions are very important. You're supposed to understand the ideas of dividing numbers. So 3 divide 4. Let's write it like this. 3 divide 4. And then let's do the division or long division. Focus on the steps and you'll get the ideas. Now, we can't divide 3 by 4 because it's small. It means we have to put a 0 point and a 0 next to it. Now we have 30. 30 divide 4. The closest one to 30 is 28, which is 7 times 4. So this one will be 28. Now we subtract them. 30 minus 28, we will get 2. Okay, let's put it like this. Now we can't divide the 2 by 4, but we can put 0 next to the 2. We already have the decimal point, so we can put 0 next to the 2. It will become 20. 20 divided 4 is going to be 5. 5 times 4 is going to be 20. And then when you subtract them, you'll get two zeros. And this is the idea of dividing numbers by each other. Okay, same idea with all the questions. You can do the same steps. If the number inside here is smaller than this one, you can add the 0 point and the 0 next to it. So you can make your division easier. Now, let's move on to the next question. Here. Dividing a number by a whole number, a decimal by a whole number is done. Dividing numbers by each other is good. Yes, we covered it. Now we're going to talk about decimals, fractions, and percentages. Decimals, fractions, and percentages. Let's take a look at the questions. Converting numbers into decimals, fractions, and percentages. Take a look at this. This is very important. So here 1 over 10. So basically, 1 over 10 is 0.1. And how do we know that? This comes after dividing. This comes after dividing. So 1 divide 10, I can do it with a long division. 1 divide 10, like this. 1 divide 10. And I can do the same for all of these, okay? Even 1 divide 2. Find the decimal. Because I know that 1 over 10 is 0.1. Some decimals are easy to understand. So here, I don't know, this one is smaller, so I have to put a 0 point and put 0 next to it. Now 10 divided 10 will become 1. 1 times 10 is 10. And this is how we got uh, zero point 0.1. Okay. When you subtract them, it's 0, 0, and you got 0 0.1. So the decimal of 1 over 10 is 0 0.1. Same idea with 1 over 2. I can divide it. Divide 1 by 2. Same idea. I'll put it here. I just want you to understand the ideas of long divisions and how to do them. Okay. So I can divide 1 by 2 because it's smaller, so I have to put a 0 point. So I can put a 0 next to it. Now 10 divide 2 will become 5. 5 times 2 is going to be 10. And then when you subtract them, you'll get 0, 0. Okay. Now after doing this, I found the decimals. So 1 over 2 is going to be 0 0.5. Now, as you can see here, 0.25, it means 25 out of 100. It means when you write it as a fraction, you'll write it like this, 25 over 100. Let's make it smaller. So this one, 25 over 100. Here, 30 over 100. So it's going to be like this, 30 over 100. Now, you can write it like this and simplify it at the same time. For example, 25 over 100, let's put it here. When you simplify it more, it means you're going to divide it by a common factor, which is the 25 here. So divide by 25, divide by 25. 25 divided 25 is going to be 1. 100 divided 25 is going to be 4. So 1 over 4. 1 over 4. Okay. And the 25 out of 100 is 25%. So focus on the ideas of turning decimals, fractions, and mixed numbers into each other. Okay. Here, 1 over 10, which is 10 out of 100, which is 10%. 10%. Now let's come to this. 3 or 30 over 100, when you simplify it, you divide by the simplest number. First, let's remove the zeros together. 0 from the numerator and 0 from the denominator. And we end up with 3 over 10. That's the simplest form you can get. And as a decimal, 3 over 10 is 0 0.3. As I said, you can use the division, long division, you can find it. Here, 0 0.4, it means it's 4 over 10. 4 over 10. When you simplify it more, you divide by the common factor, which is 2. So divide 2. Let's make it thinner. Divide 2, divide 2. 4 divide 2 is going to be 2. And then 10 divide 2 is going to be 5. So 2 over 5. So 0 0.4 or 4 over 10 is the same as 40 over 100, which is 40%. Now, same idea for all of them. This one is 50%. This one's 75%, which is 3 over 4. And 75, 0.75, 0.7. Now, all of these are normal or proper fractions. But here, 1.5 and 1 and 3 over 5. This is a mixed number. This one is a mixed number. So how do we turn this into a mixed number? The 1, you just write it next to the fraction. And the 0.5, which is here, it's 1 over 2. So you write it like this, 1 over 2. Or you can write it 5 over 10 and then simplify it. Okay? This is the idea of mixed numbers. Here, same idea, 1 and 3 over 5. I need to turn this into a decimal. So before we talk about this, let's continue this. So 1.5, if you want to turn this into percentage, you multiply it by 100. So basically, when you multiply anything by 100, you get the percentage. Same idea here, 1.5 times 100 is going to be 150%. Here, 1 and 3 over 5. Now, I need to turn this into, sorry about this, I didn't do this, 50%. So this one, 1 and 3 over 5. I want to turn this denominator into 10. So I'm going to multiply by 2 here. Same thing, I'm going to multiply the one on top by 2. So it's going to be 1 and 6 over 10, which means 1.6 or 1, 6 over 10. And when you multiply by 100, it's 160%. And this is how you turn between fractions, decimals, and percentages. Now, let's move on to the next question. Here it's going to be 3 over 4. Don't forget that. And this comes by dividing 75 over 100 using the long division, okay? Let's see now. Next question on this page. The next questions will be the same as this one. Here, turn this into decimal. Ah, uh, percentage, I'm sorry. Yani, this one is 72 over 100. So when you want to turn it into a percentage, you just multiply by 100. So let me show you how. Um, Let me zoom in. So basically, you just multiply this by 100. Just multiply by 100. When you multiply by 100, you're going to move the decimal point. So the decimal point, it was here. You'll move it two times. One, two. So the answer will be 72. So it's going to be 72%. This is one of the methods that you can use to find the percentage. Or the other method will be what? This one is 23 over 100. So 23 over 100. You multiply it by 100, multiply by 100, and then you simplify it. Simplifying means what? It means the 100 here will be removed with this 100. And then you end up with 23. So the final answer is 23%. This means that you can use any method that you understand in turning any number or converting any number into percentages. Now let's move on to the next one. Here, next question. Let's out. Same idea. Turn these percentages into decimals. Percentages into decimals. Every percentage means it's over 100. So that's 42. It means 42 over 100, like this. So it's gonna be what? It's going to be 0.42. Yes, equals 0.42. Same idea with all of them. This will be 1.91, 0.06, 1, uh, 1.3. When you put it on 100 like this, it's going to be 1.3 over 100 or divided by 100. It means you're going to move the decimal point, or you can do like we did with dividing decimals by numbers or numbers, or you can move the decimal point two times. So dividing means the decimal point will move this way, like this, one, two. So you end up with filling the gaps with zeros. This will be zero, and this will be zero. So the final answer will be 0.013, and this is the decimal of 1.3%. Same idea with all of them, same steps, just follow the steps and you get the answer. Now let's see, write these in ascending order, percentages and decimals. So first you have to make them the same. You can't work with these, order them without making them the same. Let's do one of them. Let's cover this. Let's turn them all to percentages. This one is 6 over 10. It means 60%. 60%. As we said, we multiply by 100 to get the percentage. This one is 6%. This one is 66 over 100, which is 66%. This one is 63%, already there. And this one is 606 over 100, which is 606%. Okay, 606%. So, which one is the smallest one? Which one is the smallest one? Let's see. Numbers. The smallest one is the 6%. So this is number one. And after that, we have the 60%. After the 60, we have the 63. Ascending means going up, okay? And then the 66, and then the 606%. And this is how you put percentages and decimals in order of slice. Now let's move on. That's it for this lesson, I think. Yes. Write each fraction, write it as a fraction of 1 hour. Simplify the fraction as much as you can. Okay, same idea as a fraction of 1 hour. 1 hour means what? Means 60 seconds. So 1 hour means 60 minutes, I'm sorry, minutes. Okay. So to write it as a fraction, let's take the 30, for example. It's going to be 30 over 60, like this. And that's the fraction of an hour. Let's make it red. Now to simplify, the zeros will go together. Divide by the common factor, highest common factor, which is 3. Divide 3 is going to be 1. Divide 6 by 3 is going to be 2. So the final answer is 1 over 2, which is 0 0.5. Okay. As we said, simplify as much as possible. Same idea for all of them. Put them on top of 60 and then simplify. Okay. That's how you write them as a fraction and simplify them. Now, these first ones are normal. The second ones will be a mixed number. So let's take a look at that. We have 1 hour and 30 minutes. We need it, write it as a decimal number, hours. So 1 hour and 30 minutes. Sorry. Yes. 1 hour, 30 minutes. It means this 30 minutes should be decimals and added to the one. Okay. So we already have the one. Now let's talk about 30 minutes. The 30 minutes, which is 30 over 60, we found out that it's 1 over 2, right? Like we said before, you're going to simplify. The 0 will go with 0. Divide by 3, divide by 3. It's going to be 1 over 2. So it's going to be 1 over 2. Okay. And 1 over 2 as a decimal is going to be 0 0.5 equals 0 0.5. Now we have the 1 here and the 0 0.5. We add them to each other. So 1 plus 0 0.5 will give me 1.5 hours. And this is how you write this as a decimal of hours. So 1.5 hours. Same idea here, 15 over 60. You find the decimal, which is 15 over 60, which is 1 over 4, which is 0.25. So it's going to be 5.25, like this, hours. Same idea with all of them. Find the decimal of the minutes and then add it to the hours like this and write it as a decimal for hours. Now let's move on to the next question here. Write these decimals as fractions. As we said, simplify the fractions where possible. As we said before, 0 0.3 is going to be 3 over 10. You can simplify it more. That's the final simplifying form. The 0 0.8 is going to be 8 over 10. You can simplify it. Divide by 2. It's going to be 4 over 5. And then 0.39 is going to be 39 over 100. 39 over 100. I don't think you can simplify it anymore. Same idea. These are proper fractions. Here we will have improper fractions or mixed numbers. It's going to be turned into mixed numbers. For example, 1, this is 1, and 85 over 100, and 85 over 100, like this. So the mixed number will be like this. Make sure that the final answer will be a mixed number instead of improper fraction, okay? So that's the mixed number of this one. Same here, 5 and 48 over 100. And then you have to simplify it. You have to simplify it as much as possible. So focus on this, okay? Now 85 over 100 is going to be 17 over 20 because we divide by 5. So divide by 5, divide by 5 is going to be the final answer, 1 and 17 over 20. Focus on the highest common factors so you can use it for simplifying. And that's the idea of question 12. Now let's move on to the next question. Here yeah, same idea, fractions to decimals, write your answer to decimal places, same idea. Let's do this to decimal places thing. Here, 1 divide 3. 1 divide 3, first thing you do, you have to divide 1 over 3 because we're not using calculators here. Let me check the question if it's a calculator question. I don't think, yeah, it is a calculator question. I don't think these questions come to you in the test. Um, I just want you to understand how to answer it, okay? But I don't think they come. So 1 over 3, it means you're going to take the 1 and divide by 3 using long division, okay? Let's make this bigger. But as I said, this is a a calculated question. I don't think it's coming. So here, dividing. So this means 1 over 3 can do it. So it's going to be 0 point. And then I'm going to add 0 here. So 10 divided 3 is going to be 3. And then here 9. And when you subtract them, you'll get 1. And then you put a 0. And again 3 and 9. And then when you subtract them, you'll get 1, 0, 3, 9, 1, 0. It will continue like this. So the answer will be like this, 0.33333. And they need it in one decimal place, right? One decimal place. Or two decimal places. I didn't focus on the question. Two decimal places. So two decimal places means what? It means you have to put a box that has two decimal numbers inside of it, like this. Two decimal numbers. Now, two decimal places, and then look at the number outside of the box. This number is smaller than 5. If it's a 5 or more, you add 1 here. If it's smaller than 5, you just remove it like this. So the final answer will be 0.33. These are the two decimal places. And this is how you answer a question like this. Now let's move on to the next question. Hmm. Same idea, make them the same percentages and then order them. Same idea. Questions are repeated, so they have the same ideas. Okay, now let's talk about 6.7, calculating percentages. Calculating percentages. 29, yes. Work out half of these, it means multiply by half. So work out half of this, it means multiply by half. So this one, 200 times 1 over 2 times 1 over 2, like this, 1 over 2. Okay, same idea with all of them, just multiply them by 1 over 2. Now, when you do this, you have to simplify now. By dividing by a common factor, divide 2, okay? Let me see. Divide 2 is going to be 1, and divide 2 is going to be 100. So this one is 1, this one is 100. Okay, so the answer will be what? 100 times 1 over 1 is going to be 100. Same idea with all of these. You just put the 2, 1 over 2, and then simplify, and then find the final answer. Same idea with all questions, okay? Now let's move on. We have 10 minutes. I don't think we can fit this here. Okay, let's stop the recording and then come back and finish the rest of the questions, okay? Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Um, guys, 10 minutes break and then we'll come back, okay? Bye bye. See you.